Hey YouTube, welcome to my channel, the Chaos Harmonizer. Queenie Way here. I am an executive accountability coach and I also run a marketing agency with my husband. Yes, my husband. We spend a lot of time together. So today I want to share 5 tips to repurposing your content. So let's just dive right in, shall we? So I'm going to go through 5 simple steps that you can take and action on today. All right. So the reference is, and I'll put this in the link, is from the man himself, Gary Vaynerchuk. He created and released an entire deck walking you through top to bottom how to create this. And a lot of the feedback I've gotten personally is that it's just really overwhelming. Like there's just too much in there. So the intention of my tips is really to make it easier for you, to make it more digestible so you can act on it like today. Because we all know it is a tough time out there with COVID. Of course, I hope everyone is staying safe. I know we had a little bit of scare. Both my husband and I got sick. So thankfully it's not COVID, but it's a scary time out there, right? And so one thing that from a marketing agency standpoint, what we would actually like to do is we are telling our clients to double down on their content game, because right now everybody's at home. So, and they're looking for those resources to help them. So that's the intention behind today, is really giving you those tips that you can action upon right now. So let's dive in. So tip number 1 is reintroduce yourself. Seriously, when was the last time you introduced yourself on the platforms? So whatever you're using, whether it's YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, it doesn't matter. I know for the first time, it's been a while since I've introduced myself. And of course, this is one of my first YouTube videos. So that's why I had that quick intro about me at the beginning. But share yourself, share with people what you're up to, what you do, and how you can help them. If you've already created a video before, do one again. Better yet, reference that previous video and kind of show it side by side, because people want to see growth. They want to see what you've learned. They want to see what's changed, or maybe you've had the most amazing transformation ever. And we want to share that. Share some good news. Put that positive vibe out there into the world. So the tangible takeaway for that one is, if you have a video introducing yourself, refer to it. Share how much you've grown, what you've learned since then. And if you don't, definitely do one. All right. And tip number 2 is, who do you help and who do you serve? So that translates into, who are your ideal customers? Now, the thing about social media is a lot of time we get selfish. We're thinking about what we want, the services we want to sell. We don't always think about how I can help you. And we don't always talk about or share who we're talking to. Speaking of which, I actually forgot about that at the beginning of this video. So I'm going to give you an example that speaks more to pain point or challenges. Instead of saying, I offer coaching services to grow your business, would translate into something like, I guide entrepreneurs and small business owners to take action, build structures, and drive growth to produce tangible results that you can measure. So see, the difference is that in the second positioning there, it is actually more specific into who I'm looking to work with, which are entrepreneurs and small business owners. So by doing that, you probably already have some posts somewhere or content that talks about what you do. So your tangible to do is to look for those where you talk about your services and think about who your target audience is. And then cater the message to them. Speak directly to them. There's no need to reinvent the wheel. You're taking exactly the same thing that you've already done, but now you're making it more about them versus yourself. So that is your tangible to do. Look through your previous posts that talk about what you do and make it about them. And above all, talk about how you can actually help your audience, whether it's the end result, whether it's the process or journey, whatever that looks like for you. If you need help figuring out who your audience is, you're more than welcome to find me on my social channel, send me a DM or comment below, and I would love to chat with you to get that started. So moving on to tip number 3, which is turn your talk and videos into a nurture campaign. So it takes about 7 interactions before you can build trust or a connection with someone, and that's face-to-face. So when it comes to social media, it's over 100 times before you can establish that same connection. So you've probably had talks before, or you've made videos before that talks about how it can benefit your client by working with you. Amazing. So take those videos and put them in an email. So there's a few ways you can do this. The first is uploading that video into something like Vidyard, and then you can get a link. So it doesn't take up too much space when you're sending out an email, and you get to see how many views. You can't exactly see who has viewed your video unless you have a tracking CRM like HubSpot, which you can get for free, but at least you could see the number of people that have viewed. So you know if you send it to 100 people or 50 to start, and only 10 people viewed your videos, that's about what, 20%? So it gives you some good tracking metrics that you can take with you. One of the things is we think content creation is about something new, right? Because you're creating, so it has to be new. And often what we forget is you can repurpose it, right? So we can revisit these things that we've done before and use them to our advantage. So back to the nurture campaign. I trailed off there for a second. So put your video in an email, then write something that gives context to the video. What are you talking about in the video? How does it help them? And what action do you want them to take? Do you want them simply to share feedback with you? Do you want them to reach out for a one-on-one? Do you want them to join your email list? It doesn't matter what that thing is, but try and engage your audience, right? Because ultimately you want to have a conversation and build a new relationship. Say you've created a 5-video series. You can use each video in an email, write a little bit, provide some context, and outline what you talk about in your video. And of course, you can always craft the copy with more of a sales intent or a marketing intent. That is completely up to you. But the purpose of this nurture campaign is to stay in touch and deepen that connection you have with your audience, right? You want to stay top of mind for your audience. And so that's the purpose of a nurture campaign. Keep it simple. You can always go back and revise it later with feedback, but this is something that's just going to get you started, right? Don't overthink it. And it's just about getting content out the door. Moving on to tip number 4, turn your series into an ebook. So now we've talked about gathering your videos, gathering your talks, making these nurture campaigns and sequences, and now we can actually pull on each of those things or all 3 and create an ebook. So there are apps out there such as Otter, and I'll leave it in the notes below, that you can use, upload your video simply, and then transcribe so you get all of it in a text, so you don't have to do any extra work. The only thing you would have to do is go through the text that was pulled from the videos, see if there's anything you want to add more to it. Most likely you're gonna find that you probably could, right? I know for me, if I go on a point or a tangent for too long, I can keep talking some more about it. So if you want, you can add on to those points. Maybe if it's something about a tip, give a few more extra tips. So for me, for example, in this video, I'm going to add 5 more tips to it, and then I'm going to turn it into a super short and simple ebook, right? Don't overthink it. And there's so many other things that you can do to meet your customers where they're at, because not everyone is going to be ready to work with you, right? Whether it is a time, budget, or financial commitments, they might just not be ready. But it doesn't mean that you can't still be of service and of value to them without compromising your own time and value. So ebooks and these offering resources are a great way to stay in touch with your current clients, or new clients that may not be ready to work with you, but you can build them up, right? This resources can be given to them to help them grow so that they are ready to work with you. Where you're focusing your time is on people that are ready to buy from you. Your resources can be focused on nurturing people that will be able to work with you in the future. Tangible to do is use any phone app that can edit video so you can piece them together, and then put it into even YouTube file. You can get a closed caption from there or throw it into something like Otter. Add on little tidbits if you feel like anything is missing, and if you don't, great. If you got branding, put some of your branding into it, and if not, that's perfectly fine. Package it in a PDF, and there you have an ebook that you can follow up with and touch base with your current clients. Tip number 5, memes and quotes. So this is a time to gloat. So seriously, go look through your old posts, videos, whatever content you've put out before, and quote your beautiful self. Seriously, this is the time to do that. So often, I know I can't be the only one, right? Where you are just out there and you're like, man, I wish I would have captured that. I wish I could have captured what I said. This is the time to do that. Everybody's loving quote graphics. And it's super simple. You don't have to be a designer. I'm not a designer. So you can go use things such as Canva for free. They can create a quote graphic for you, or even Instagram, Facebook in the story function. They have this pre-made quote, like quote of the day. So, go in there, write your quote, put it in the box, save it, and then repost it. Like, it's that simple nowadays. So there's literally no excuses not to do that. Tangible to do will be to look through your old posts and find the gems and nuggets where you feel like you can quote yourself, right? Whether it is a phrase, whether it is, it could be anything. Thank you guys so much for watching. And if you've made it this far, I want to give you a bonus tip. So tip number 6, this is compiling everything from tip 1 to 5 into a webinar, and that actually jumpstarts our sales funnel. Everything we've talked about is introducing yourself, who do you help and serve, turning your talks into a nurture campaign. So everything we've done, and I'll give you an example of this. This video here, I've done Instagram Live and Facebook Live with it. I'm going to be cutting this video up into post size so I can use them for my social media channels. This is a YouTube video, so there's the YouTube content. I'm gonna be able to host a webinar using the exact same information. I can do a nurture campaign with each of my tips in an email. I can also create a deck for client presentations when we talk about repurposing content. And I can also do a short ebook that I talked about earlier by adding a few more tips into what I'm sharing with you. And then at the end of it all, I can go back and look for memes, quotes that I can use and reshare for my social media. Because no matter how valuable something is, we forget information. It is typical way of human being, and we forget. It's not a bad thing. It's not right and wrong. It's just we forget. So sometimes you may think you're repeating yourself in delivering the same content to your audience, but really they might have just forgotten, and most likely they will appreciate you. I feel like your real followers will appreciate the reminder, and sometimes it might just be what they need in the day. So there's my tips for you for repurposing your content, things that you can get started today. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. I'm definitely here for a conversation. You can find me on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, but that's more for dance challenges and some tips, but I'm honestly here to help. I love repurposing content. I think it's a really good use of your time versus creating something new. And yeah, I'd love to chat with you. If you want a resource, like a text file of these tips, please let me know. You can drop your email in the comments below or send me a DM, and I can definitely send that your way. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to be doing more of these. Everybody stay safe during COVID and quarantine, and I wish you guys all the best. Take care. Bye.